Hello guys, welcome to Melbay Guys tasting. What have you been doing? Um, Melbay Guys programming class. Come on, I'm stressed. So, hello guys, welcome. My name is Melbay Guy, and thanks for joining me in my programming class. In the previous session, we studied expressions. We learned how to identify expressions and how to construct expressions, and we learned more about expressions. So we said that expressions are statements which are evaluated to produce a result, and the result may be what a user is interested in, or the results can be used for further processing by the programmers. So I advise you watch the previous video to understand it. So these are some of the things we did in the previous video. In this session, we are going to look at operations on variables. We've been doing more about variables, we're learning more about variables. So today we want to learn how to perform operations on variables. What are variables? We already understand. We know variables are memory, and we store our data inside them for future references or future processing, or as we program. So we can create a memory or collect memory from the computer and name it maybe A by passing the statement var A. Or we can say that we can declare a variable called A. So when we declare variable or collect memory from the computer, we can put data inside the memory. We can put maybe 5 inside the memory. We can put maybe a decimal number inside the memory, 1.5. We can put any type of data we want inside that memory. You get it? But so we can put any data we want inside that memory. And there may be times that we may want to perform operations on the variables or on the memory. So we may have a memory. I'm sorry. So we may have a variable called A with a value 5 inside. And we may have another variable called B with a value, let's say 10 inside. And we may be interested in determining the value, the result of A plus B, the result of the value inside the memory A added to the value inside the memory B. We may be interested in performing operations on the variables. So that's what we'll be looking at now. So if we have a value inside the memory or a variable called A, and we have another value in a memory or variable called B, we can perform lots of operations on them. We can perform arithmetic operations, logical operations, or relational operations. So we can perform operations on them by using arithmetic operators, or logical operations by using the logical operators, or relational operation by using the relational operators. So in this session, we'll be performing arithmetic operations on the values stored in variables. So I can just say 5 plus 10. I can send this statement to the computer, 5 plus 10, and the computer will respond by giving me 15. Or I can send the variable, I can say, okay, the variable A plus the variable B. When I do it this way, what happens is the variable here, over here, the contents, the value inside the variable is replaced here, and the value inside this variable B2 is replaced here. So we will have something like this in the computer. And 5 plus 10 is what? 15. That's why A plus B will give us 15. And we've learned that this statement is an expression statement. So we can perform more than addition. So we can just pick let's clear the screen. So we can perform additions on variables. Get it? So we have values in some variables and we want to add them. So we can just mention the name of the variable and use the addition operator to instruct the computer that we want to add the values inside the variables that we are specifying here. So here I'm adding A and B. I'm adding the value inside A and a value inside B. I can change the operator because we have like 4 arithmetic operators there. If you could see, coming, if you could see here, we have addition, subtraction, division, and times. So I can say, okay, I want to subtract the value inside the memory A and the value inside the memory B. I want to subtract them. So let's say I want to subtract the value inside the memory B from the value inside memory A. So inside A, we've already specified it here. We declare the variable A and replace 5 in, and we declare the variable B and replace 10 inside. So when I say A minus B, what happens? We have a value 5 inside the memory A and a value 10 inside memory B. So 5 minus 10, the answer is -5. So if we pass this expression to the computer, we'll get a -5. We can perform another operation such as multiplication. So A times B, so 5 times 10, what do we get? 50. And we can do one last one, which is A divided by B. And we get what? 0.5. So what are we doing here? We are performing arithmetic operations on variables. You get it? Because variables contain some values, and we can add those values, we can subtract those values, we can multiply those values, so we can divide those values. You get it? And remember, we said that in programming is basically a communication between a programmer, and the computer. In the communication, we teach the computer how to perform certain operations. You get it? So we need to learn all these components, how to perform operations on variables, how to collect memory from the computer, how to take input from users, and we join all those things together to teach the computer how it should behave or how it should perform a particular operation. You get it? So we'll get there. We'll get there. So I want to build a simple application. I want to build a simple application. So I want to declare a variable called A, put the value 2 inside. And I want to declare a variable called B and put, let's say 4 inside. And I want to I want to find, I want to add the contents of A to the content of B. So I can just say A plus B. And it gives me 6. That's correct. I can say A minus B. And it give me 2. So, wow. Now I want to go back to the application we built long ago when we're dealing with some of the sections. I built a mini calculator. Yeah, there's it. I built a mini application that takes 2 numbers and subtracts them. So this is the program. This is the program. So let's run it to see. So the computer is asking for enter first number, we enter 5, enter second number, we enter 6. And it's going to subtract them. So we had -1, 5 minus 6. So let's explore the code again. Let's see what is happening. Because so far we've learned so much to be able to do this. So this is what we have. So here we've declared our variable A, and we are taking input from a user, enter first number, and we are storing it inside the variable A. If you've been following throughout up to this stage, you understand what's happening because we've treated taking input from a user and storing it inside a variable. We've treated that already. So we took input from a user and stored it in the variable A. We took input from a user and stored it in the variable B. So we took first input, stored it in A, took a second input and stored it in B. Then here we wrote an expression here. So there's this expression, and the result of this expression is being stored in the memory code C, or in the variable code C. So what we're doing, we've taken input from a user. So let's say the user entered 5, we've stored the 5 here. And we took another input. So let's say the user entered 6. So we've stored 6 here. So let's say we have 5 in A, we have 6 in B. And down here, we are telling the computer that we want to subtract this guy from this guy. So we have A is 5, B is 6. So we have 5 minus 6 here. That's what we're having, 5 minus 6. What's the result? 5 minus 6 is -1. So we stored the -1 inside the variable called what? C. So -1 is being stored in the variable called C. And this statement here, what are we doing? We are printing the content of the memory called C. So if you've been following the sessions, you should be able to understand whatever I'm saying here, because I took my time to break everything down in the videos. So here we are showing what the content of C. We've done those ones already. And that's it. And it created a mini application. So we can enter. So 5 will move into the memory A. When we press OK, 5 will be stored in the memory A, and 6 will be stored in the memory B. And this statement here will pop up this guy, and it will show the result inside the C. What is inside C? Inside the memory C, we are subtracting the values in A and B. You get it? So that's it. That's how we build simple applications. That's how we build simple applications. We perform operations on the variables, and we print the results to the user. So at a basic level, that's what we can do. So now we've learned how to perform operations on variables. How do we perform operations on variables? You just pick the name of the variable you want. Let's say I have a variable. I have 2 variables. So you just pick the names of the variables you want. We can have a third variable, maybe variable C, and perform operations on them. So let's say I have a value, I'm storing a value 2 inside memory A value 5 inside memory B, and a value 6, a value 8 inside memory C. So I'm storing a value 8 inside the memory C. I'm storing this inside the memory B. So now what do I want to do? I want to find A plus B plus C. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to add this value to this value and this value. I want to add the 3 values. How do we do that? We say A plus B plus C. And we get what? So this is an extraction. And I told you, this is an expression, and always expressions are being evaluated by the computer. The computer evaluates expressions and produces a result. The result is what users are interested in, or what programmers will need for further processing. You get it? So here, A plus B plus C, the value inside the memory is 2. So 2 plus 5 plus 8 is 16. We can use a different, we can use different operators. So we can say A minus B plus C, and it's 5. A minus B plus C, it's 5. So instead of just saying maybe A plus B plus C, we can also store the result inside a different variable. Let's say we can create a variable called D and store the results of A plus B plus C inside, so that later we can check inside D and C. What's inside D? We have 15. So A plus B plus C is 15, and the result 15 is being stored in the memory D, so that we can reference it in the future. At any time, we can go back and use the data stored in the memory D. So these are basically operations on variables. So it's simple. We just specify the variable, and we just separate those variables with the operators we want. Okay, so if I want to find A plus B, I just have to specify the name of the variable and the operator and the other variable. Get it? So when we have an operator, be it addition, subtraction, division, or multiplication, these operators have 2 operands. So let's say I have A plus B. We have this is an operand. You see, when we pick this addition symbol or operator, the variable at the left is called an operand. This one is called an operand, and this is an operator. So we are performing operation. So A plus B, what is the value inside A is 2. The value inside B is 5. So A plus B will give us 7 if we give it to the computer. So that's it with performing operations on variables. So the next thing we are going to look at in the next session, we are going to look at how to take input from a user and perform operations on them. get it, and perform arithmetic operations on them. So far, what we've been doing is when we declare our variable A, so far what we've been doing is when we declare our variable A, then we store our data inside for, then we declare another variable B, and we store maybe a data too inside. This time we don't want it this way. We don't want to store the data inside the memory by ourselves. We want the user to store data in the memory. Then we will perform operation on it. You get it? So here we have stored our data 4 inside this memory and our data 2 inside this memory. And we are trying to perform operation then by saying A plus B. So we'll get the answer 6. But this time, this is not what we want. In the next session, we want to take input from a user and store it inside the memory A, and take another input from the user and store it inside the memory B. Then we'll perform operation on them. Okay, so see you in the next session.